What's up, guys? Welcome back to Security Guard Command. Hey, what's up, security family? Welcome back to Security Guard Command. It's a beautiful day today, a little warm, heading into work. Been working a lot of 12s and a 16 and coming in my day off this week, so pretty tired, but just pushing through. Gotta make things happen, so that's what I'm doing. I wanted to give out an honorable mention to somebody. I'm not going to give his name out yet. That's for a future video. But this guy works for Allied. And let me tell you guys, Allied does not deserve this guy. He made an impression right off the bat. And that impression was his appearance and his uniform. Extremely clean, extremely professional, like he actually cared about his job. I don't see that a lot out there in the Allied workforce. I don't see that a lot in a lot of security posts. I see a lot of sloppiness out there. And guys, this is a huge part of your job, and yes, it does impact how well you can do your job. Because when people see a sloppy appearance, they're not going to respect you, and they're not going to respect any authority that you might have on that site, and you already lose whatever shred of credibility that you might have had already. It's extremely important to maintain a professional, clean appearance, guys. So that was number one. Very clean appearance, very professional. Number two, he has been a guard for about 7 years. I sat down and talked to him for a bit. He's been a security guard for 7 years, guys, and it shows. He has taken the extra step in really learning some things. He was very intellectual, demonstrated to me some very good de-escalation techniques. I watched him interact with a person, and I was extremely impressed with his de-escalation tactics. Very, very effective. Is surprisingly effective. He had almost an instant response to this person who was being very difficult initially. I'm gonna bring him on the channel, guys. I've already talked to him. He's agreed he would like to sit down, so I'm gonna bring him on the channel. We're gonna have an interview and we're gonna talk, because he's got a lot of great info, a lot of great input, guys. I think that everybody that watches my channel will benefit from hearing this guy. Great guy all around. I told him, Allied doesn't deserve you, and I've made some suggestions to him to further himself and to, for him to get to grow even more. So, guys, I'm going to bring him on the channel, and I really look forward to having an interview with him. So, shout out to this guy, and his name will be revealed when that video comes out. I also want to talk about something that is a very important aspect of any job, not just security, but it is particularly important to security. And this is the topic of communication. And guys, I am just observing in many aspects of security where communication is just fails, and it's very important. I'm going to be doing a video on radio communications pretty soon. I'm working on that. And guys, like I said before, I haven't put out as many videos lately because I'm really working on some content for these next videos. So I'm doing a ton of research. I'm doing a ton of just information gathering, looking for real world examples for a lot of what I'm talking about. So it takes time, guys, and lately I haven't had a lot of time either. I've been very busy at work, putting in a lot of overtime, working on days off, and then my day off, my one day off that I do have, I spend with my family. So I haven't had a chance to really produce any video content other than these quick chats in the car. So that's coming out, radio communications, but I want to talk about just communication in general. This is an extremely important topic, and I'm seeing communication break down everywhere I look. Even at a hospital where I work, I notice that communication tends to fail. Part of communication, if you want to take a highly effective communications, look at the military and look at the protocols that they use for communication. And another example is also how the internet works. And the internet protocols are called IP for short, are pretty complex, but there are some basics that are important and are very effective for just verbal communications between people. First thing is a greeting. When a computer logs onto a website to download the information on a website, the browser will send a greeting to that server. The server will respond with hello. Then the browser says, okay, I request the HTML information from that website. Server responds with, okay, here you go. Browser responds with, okay, got it, thank you. And the server responds, okay, all clear. And the same thing needs to happen with communications and verbal communications between people. You start with a greeting, and if you're on a radio, you identify yourself. You say Unit 1 to Unit 2. That's the greeting, also known as a preamble. So that's basically to initiate a means of communication. Now it's up to Unit 2 to respond with, Unit 2, go ahead. And that basically clears the originating party to proceed with their communications. They know that Unit 2 is now listening. So Unit 1 then responds with the message they want to say. For example, am I clear to go 10-7? 10-7 being a code for going on break. And now the ball is in Unit 2's court to respond with, and Unit 2 should respond with something along the lines of, Unit 1, you are clear to go 10-7. And now Unit 1 should respond with, okay, copy, Unit 2, or Unit 1, now 10-7. And Unit 2 would then respond with 10-4. And at this point, we've got a very clear dialogue between two parties. And this is an example of how to very effectively and clearly communicate. Now, sometimes it's hard to understand somebody on phone, on the radio, things get garbled. If somebody asks you to repeat your message, do not say the exact same thing verbatim again, because obviously they had trouble understanding what you said the first time. Change the words a bit, say the same thing but in a different way. So if someone says, am I clear to go 10-7? And they say, can you repeat that? Something about what you said didn't come across clearly. So change it. You say, am I clear to go on break? And the person on the other end will hear both conversations, and they will, their brain will be able to come up with what you said, even if both transmissions were staticky or garbled. When you say it in a different way, their brains will connect what you say, and then they will be able to decipher what that garbled message was. Our brains are very good at recognizing speech, even if it was degraded. If you say it in a different way but have the same meaning, your brain will be able to come up with and understand what you said. So it's important to change what you said, say it in a different way if they're asking you to repeat it, and that's how to get a message across clearly. Now, guys, when somebody calls out on the radio, say, can you give me a 1021, which means give me a phone call. Respond back with, I copy, or Unit 2 copies. So that way anybody else who's listening also knows that the transmission was received and that it was clear and that what you're requesting was heard. If somebody calls Unit 1 to Unit 2, I need assistance, Unit 2 should respond with copy and route, because other units that are listening, if they don't know that Unit 2 is responding, they may jump in and try to respond as well, because they think that Unit 2 did not hear them, or is not responding. So make sure that you respond to clear the transmission. It's very important to make sure that that transmission is cleared and that it was understood. So these are just basic things with radio communications. Another thing, guys, follow-up is extremely important. If you have an issue that needs to be resolved and you make a phone call and you don't get through, call again, confirm what you are requesting or that you are listening to. Confirm it back. Always important to make sure that you confirm back what you heard, and make sure that the person that you're talking to confirms it and that they understand what you're saying. Too many times something will be said, it's not clearly understood, they're in a hurry, they get off the phone, and then they don't remember, or they didn't clearly get what you were trying to say. Guys, if your phone rings and your job position is that of at a desk with a phone, make sure that you are answering that phone and taking notes, writing down what is being told to you. I get that it is very busy, especially at a desk, front desk, for example, where you're checking people in. You've got a line out the door, you got people looking at you, your phone rings, and you just want to get off the phone and get back to that line. Write it down, guys. Make sure you have paper and pen ready to write things down, always. Those are just a few things with communication, guys. Communication's huge. It bugs me when companies don't focus on communication. One thing that really kind of gets to me is when part of my job working in the ED lobby is I have to make phone calls to nurses to make sure that they are clear for a visitor to come in to the room that they're in charge of. And sometimes they don't answer the phone. They're busy talking with a coworker, they're laughing, having a joke or whatever. They look down at the phone and then they laugh and they say, "Oh, I'll get it later," or whatever. And my call goes unanswered, so I have to wait a minute, call again, and it really slows down my job, makes my job difficult. If they don't answer after a few attempts, then I have to get up and go walk all the way over to the other side of the hospital to find out if they're clear to have a visitor. Guys, this is a very, very minor issue as far as what I'm calling about, but what if it's an emergency? What if I have to get a hold of that nurse for an emergent issue and they're not answering the phone? I really firmly believe that if you are assigned a phone in your job, that you should be answering the phone when it rings, and you should not be letting it ring 2, 3, 4 times. You should make every attempt to answer that phone on the first ring. Give a sense of urgency to answering that phone. I get that sometimes you're busy. If you're with a patient, like the nurses are with a patient, and they got gloves on, they're sterile, obviously they can't touch the phone, and I understand that. But if I give it a minute or two and I call back, most of the time these minor sterile procedures are very, very quick and they don't take that long, but they still don't answer the phone. And I've walked back there and dialed their phone number, and I see them looking at their phone and they don't answer it. So it's a little irritating to me. And guys, it's just important. Answer your phones. Make sure that you answer the phones quickly, because it could be an emergent issue. So that's just a few things, guys. Like I said, I've got another video coming out on radio communications, because I think that it's a big issue. It's a hot issue. More and more companies are going to radio with dispatch, and radio communications are especially important to be properly trained on and to properly use, because they are subject to interference and to just the message being degraded and a little harder to hear and understand. So that video is coming out soon. Like I said, I'm putting extra effort into these videos. I really want them to be produced well and give you guys some quality content. So with that being said, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you later. Stay safe out there.